Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to the webinar provided by ENSULIB, IFLA's Environment, Sustainability, and Library section. It's been the 12th webinar in the ENSULIB's webinar series. Good to see you all today. Our every webinar brings you a specific theme for a particular geographic location. Today's webinar is from Singapore. Let's learn more about Singapore's experience from today's webinar. My name is Priscilla Poon from the University of Macau Library. I'm the Secretary of ENSULIB, co-facilitating today along with Antonia Makata from the University of Sydney Library, who is also the Information Coordinator of ENSULIB. Before we begin, let me start with some notes on privacy and administration. This webinar is being recorded. The video will be posted on YouTube, and the link will be posted on the ENSULIB's webpage as well as our other social media. Microphones have been muted for this event. If you do have any questions or comments, please type into the chat or Q&A box. If you have questions regarding privacy, please send an email to professionalsupport@ifla.org. And now we are pleased to invite Antonia to introduce about the speakers. Antonia, please.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to our session today. I am Antonia Makata, and I am, as Priscilla mentioned, I'm the Information Coordinator for the ENSULIB section, and I'm also the Director of Central Services at the University of Sydney Library. In today's session, our esteemed presenter, Lisa Lim, explores Singapore Library's approach to sustainability in the planning and designing of library spaces and experiences, and how the three key principles, sustainability, inclusiveness, and technology, bring about nature and social connectedness in the design of the National Library Board's three newest libraries in Singapore's public library network. Lisa, could you go to the next slide, please? Lisa is currently responsible for the planning and designing of library spaces and experiences. In the last 2 years, she has been involved in the Punggol Regional Library, which opened in 2023, and the Central Public Library, which reopened in 2024. During her 30-year tenure at NLB, she has overseen diverse library portfolios, including pioneering a for teens by teens library space, developing the library service roadmap for teens, as well as managing public and school libraries operations. Her extensive administrative experience in manpower and resources management, as well as procurement, ensures the smooth operation of libraries. Lisa obtained her Master of Science Information Studies from Nanyang Technological University in Singapore in 2000. Additionally, she served as the Honorary Secretary of the Library Association of Singapore between 2015 and 2017. So please join me in welcoming our esteemed presenter, Lisa Lim, and I'll hand over to her at this point.
Okay, hi, thank you, Antonia and Priscilla. Okay, good day to everyone. Thank you for joining me today at this evening. I'm glad to be here to share with you how NLB approaches sustainability in designing our library spaces. So to begin, let me share very briefly our National Library Board Libraries and Archive Blueprint 2025. So one of the key directions in this blueprint is partnership and collaborations. So later on, you will see me sharing with you how we collaborate with our partners and communities in setting up the spaces in the library. We recognize the importance of partnership and collaborations with the communities in an evolving social, cultural, and economic landscape. So for NLB, we identify 4 new roles that we have to achieve in this blueprint. The first one is learning marketplace. The second is informed citizenry. Third is Singapore storytellers. And the last one is equalizer. In a nutshell, we want to shift our learning into a more interactive learning experience. And we want to connect our patrons with our Singapore stories. And also we want to be inclusive to ensure that everyone has fair access to the library informations. So we ask ourselves, what is the fundamental products that we want our patron to experience? And we did some research, and also based on our Lab 25 direction, we developed a fundamental principle for our design metrics. So in this fundamental principle, we look at 3 new directions: sustainability, inclusiveness, technology adoption. So this will govern our entire design metric, and it will help us, and you will see in the example later, how our 3 libraries apply this principle into the design. And knowing that our customer behavior and expectation will continue to change in this evolving landscape, we wanted to shift our transaction to a more experiential learning in the library. Ultimately, we still believe the core of the library business, which will remain, we want it to be a place for people to discover, learn, and read. So it's all about connecting and sense making in the library space. Okay, so the next part of this presentation, I will share with you how we go about designing experience in our library spaces. So as I have mentioned earlier, our we want to move from transaction to experiences, and we also know that it is even more crucial now to ensure that our customer interaction is part of the broader end-to-end journey in the library space. So we need to focus on our customer journey and have better understanding in their needs in order to enhance and improve their interaction at our different service points when they step into the library. In this design process, there are 3 parts, but they are iterative journey. So they are not taken in isolation. They are actually a process that we go and a few iterations before we come to a conclusion. So first part is research and analysis, user engagement, and finally there's this experience and service conceptualization. So the first part on research and analysis, we will tap into all the existing pool of data that will help us decide what is the next service concept that we want for our libraries. And this research process has 3 parts. First is the community analysis. The second is environmental scan. And lastly is data triangulation. So for community analysis, we study the demographic of our community of the libraries. And we also look at the loans and visitorship of patterns of the libraries, as well as the borrower information. For environment scan, is about focusing on researching the history of and the heritage of the area. And lastly, data triangulation means that we use our existing data to better support what we have found in the community analysis and environmental scan. So existing data comes from customer feedback through our quality service office, as well as our customer survey, which we do it on an annual basis. Okay, for user engagement, it's actually a very key role in our journey. And we not only engage patrons, we also engage non-user of the libraries to find out their needs and how they look at libraries and what is their expectation for the libraries. We also engage staff as a way of getting them more involved in the setting out of the spaces. Some example of user engagement which we use are user survey. We brainstorm sessions. We have brainstorming sessions with staff, and we also involve our staff in back of house prototyping activities. And for And finally, when we get all our findings from the research and engagement process, we'll put them together to continuously refine the experience that we want to give to our patrons. That is something that is attractive and meaningful. And eventually, this service concept will serve as a guiding direction for our ongoing library development process. Yeah. So at the end of the day, we want to create a library that serves the needs of our people and community. So the planning process, which I just shared earlier, is always a thorough one. Yeah. So in a broader context, each library will derive its theme and identity from the heritage, culture, and characteristic of the neighborhood. And we make a deliberate choice now to integrate nature into the library spaces. And we will leverage technology to make our discovery of information and learning more experiential and continue to provide knowledge and information in a safe library environment. So in these slides, you will see that the 3 libraries that I'm going to share, and they are, their themes for Choa Chu Kang is reconnect with nature. And the direction here is to start to create an interactive space that nurture learning, discovery and sharing of Choa Chu Kang rich agriculture, biodiversity, heritage, and sustainable living. This library actually won an IFLA Green Library Award in 2022. The next library is Punggol Regional Library. It's the latest addition and it's a new library that was opened in 2023. It's the first inclusive library that we have highlighted to serve persons with disability. And this aims to address the limited accessibility of public spaces for our PWDs. And this effort has won us the Enabling Mark Platinum Award, as well as the Universal Design Excellence Award 2023. The latest revamped library, Central Public Libraries, reopened in January this year. And because it is a library that is in the central, it derives identity from central branding and location. And this library is all things about Singapore. It has also, there is also a children biodiversity library by Sea Aquarium. This is our partnership with Resort World Sentosa. Okay, so the first part that I'm going to share of one of our fundamental principles in our design metric is biophilic design, which I shared earlier, that we make deliberate choice to integrate nature into these spaces to blur the line between indoors and outdoor. This results in our first indoor gardens in Singapore Public Libraries at Choa Chu Kang Public Libraries. And these indoor gardens form the core of the space with seating, shelving, and programming around the area. Another area in Choa Chu Kang Libraries is the children's zone, where we take reference to the farming heritage and community gardening culture. And the story circle is designated as a storytelling area, and it is an open space to cater for interactivity. The Central Public Libraries also have a green hut within the circulation path. This green hut actually provides a serene atmosphere amidst the surrounding activities. In Central Public Libraries, previously before we revamped, there are 2 enclosed outdoor spaces, which we repurpose into usable spaces after we reopen. The first one is the courtyard. This courtyard is just adjacent to the new Children Biodiversity Library, and it will showcase mangrove sapling to be and it will grow mangrove sapling in this area. And when the mangrove sapling mature, we will transplant them to Sentosa mangroves. And this is an opportunity for us to teach the children about mangrove in Singapore. The other corners, we turned it into a memories corner. And this memory corners is a multimedia showcase by award-winning artist Brian Golden Tan. They entitled The Library of the Memories. It's screened on this 5,000 red bricks, which we retained from our old National Library at Stamford Road. For Punggol Regional Library, the program zone is purposefully built next just to the community garden at One Punggol Hub. So apart from being surrounded by greenery, it allows the library to extend programming spaces into this garden. Okay, the next feature that involves biophilic design is integrating natural lighting into the library spaces. So in Choa Chu Kang Public Library, there's this sunken reading area. It overlooks a stretch of window, so it allows natural lighting to come into the space. Our reading zone in our public libraries, we will place our study tables and individual seating along the windows so that it can not only provide a scenic view, but you allow conducive and quiet reading spaces. Okay, so this part I will share with you some of the some of the sustainable materials that we use in our library projects. Since 3 years ago, we have made an effort to get our contractors to bring in sustainable materials for our library projects, such as having bio-based and recycled content for our carpets, and also vinyl tiles. And we also ask for paint furnishing that is low volatile compound. And usually we will ask them to show us whether the product is Singapore Green Building certified. Yeah. For furniture wise, we will try to reuse or upcycle the existing furniture. For example, you see the pictures on the right, the shelves in central public libraries, they are reused from our old shelf, and we upcycle them to make it new. And we also have repurposed one of the adult shelves to children's shelves in the biodiversity children's library. Yeah. Other parts that we actively try to build in is efficient fitting, like tab, sensor, tabs, flush valve. And our lift and escalators also have a device that will only activate when there are passengers on it. Yeah. And of course, last but not least, there's this, we use highly efficient air conditioning as well as energy saving LED lights. Okay, so the next part is more on how we reconnect with the environment as part of our programming or service offerings to our customer. We continue to create awareness and inspire and engage our community to appreciate the nature and also create awareness for social responsibility in their day-to-day life. At Choa Chu Kang Public Libraries, we set out this Green Grove Corner, where it's a curated corners where we cultivate environmental awareness and literacy by showing how the intricate links between humans and local environments. It features a hydroponic showcase, it has a live statistic display, as well as AR interactive activities. The other thing is, which we have in Choa Chu Kang Public Library, is the nature wall, where we create, it acts as a visual guide that leads customer into the different spaces in the library. This nature wall feature flora and fauna imageries that are extracted from the library collection as well as the collection from the museum in Paris. At Central Public Library, I mentioned earlier that we collaborated or we partnered with Resort World Sentosa to create this Children Biodiversity Library by Sea Aquarium. This is the first marine biodiversity themed learning space for our children, and it features a centerpiece that is coral-like features, as well as there are collection of specimens from sea aquariums, and these specimens are used during programming conducted by sea aquariums. There is also a digital wall where we will project aquarium-related content, and the outdoor mangrove showcase earlier I mentioned, as well as a submarine room for educational programs. So the mangrove showcase, which I earlier have mentioned, this is a picture of it. We already started growing the mangrove sapling, and we are waiting for it to mature, and then we will transplant them to the various locations in Singapore. The other picture is a submarine-like room. This is a programming space where where we held children's programs. Okay. So as Singapore continues to advance as a nation, our landscape has changed extensively over the decades. While we embrace change, we also do not want to forget our history and culture. So to ensure that all Singaporeans continue to feel rooted and have a sense of belonging, we see a way of, we see the responsible to continue to educate the people of Singapore. So this part about reconnecting with heritage and culture, we also try to integrate into our design to tell the story of Singapore. Yeah, so one of the ways which we try at Central Public Library is to use an Singapore vernacular architect design. This, you will see the side panel of the bookshelves are actually a motif, and the one that you see on the pillars, they are tiles that we use in our old Singapore houses. So we replicate them and bring in as part of the design for the library spaces at Central Public Libraries. The other method that we try is to use Singapore theme mural. We tell the story of Singapore past and present through this mural. What we have done is we commission artwork from local artists. You can see the two artwork here. One is a little bit small, which is the mural at the Central Public Library entrance. This one is we adapted this artwork by asking the artists to add in the public libraries into this map of into this mural. So this mural shows the different landscape around the CBD area, where the Central Library is located. And some of the landscape already no longer is available. So what happened is this also serves as a history lesson. We are trying to build in some AR element here, where our public can, it's like the West Wally kind of activities. They can look for the different landscape on this mural, and using AR, they can learn more about the landscape of this on the mural. Yeah. The other one is by Aqua. He painted two old National Library building. So we also commissioned his work for the libraries. The last one is we work with NAFA student, the Nanyang Academic Fine Arts, to produce the artwork as part of the student coursework. For Central Public Libraries, we also built a digital exhibition. We called it the Singapore Alcove. In the first edition, it featured the iconic leisure scenes and rich history of our past leisure through digital storybooks, artifact, display, and interactive elements. This Singapore Alcove also blurs the lines between exhibitions and Singapore collections. So it allows the patron to browse and borrow the collection and see Singapore through the eyes of literature at the exhibition. There's one interactive activity in this alcove area. The patrons can interact it with a personalized QR code and complete a personalized quiz to discover what kind of lepaker they are. Means how they spend their free time. And at the end of the quiz and activities, they can take away a list of recommended books based on their personality. So while central libraries tell stories of Singapore, for the other libraries in the heartland, we present it hyper-local history instead. So like Punggol, we have the Punggol story that comprise memories gathered from our National Archive Singapore oral history, as well as from our past project, the Singapore Memories. We also get memories from corporate and individual contributors. This Punggol stories, similar as the Singapore Alcove, is complemented by the collection. And in this case, it's a Singapore literature and non-fiction collection. This memory corners is another feature which I've mentioned earlier. It's a multimedia showcase that showcase our own National Library stories. So earlier, so in the community libraries in the heartland, like Choa Chu Kang, we present the history and heritage through communities wall. So Choa Chu Kang has a community wall that feature both the historical and modern days sections with the elements that is unique to Choa Chu Kang, from its agricultural heritage to the new generation farms today. So at the heritage section, it is more of an interactive feature, but then for the community section, we allow customers to contribute their own memories, their experience, and their thoughts. At the same time, we also develop an AR learning trail and AR book on wildlife and natural landscape. And this is in collaboration with Nanyang Technological University, Singapore, and is sponsored by CapitaLand Hope Foundation. For Punggol, the community wall is located near to the entrance. So it features the story of Punggol and community through tactile and digital formats. And it highlights interesting aspect of the area. The wall that is facing upward shows a super graphic map of Punggol featuring the landmarks, services, and facility of the neighborhood. So in this project, NLB or the library staff actually collaborated with Animal Concern Research and Education Society, the Singapore Birds Project, and the Nature Photography Society to curate content on wildlife and natural landscape. Okay, so the last part, I will talk about the inclusive design. Punggol Regional Library is our first inclusive library in Singapore, and is first project that we also engage the user and we work very closely with all the PWD communities to create a barrier-free journey, as well as an integrated spaces for them. So this design is also guided by the universal design principle that is by Singapore Building and Construction Authority. And this is to enable to ensure everyone is able to read, learn, and discover within the same space. So for the toy library, we design to cater for children, but at the same time, we also design for children with special needs. And we also have a family lounge that is open for everyone. So this library aims to address the limited accessibility of public spaces for PWD, and is the first public libraries in the network that incorporates PWD-centric infrastructure, facility, and services. So this planning of spaces, furniture, fit-up, we work very, very closely with the PWD, the professional, as well as their caregiver. I think I mentioned earlier, that we have also achieved the SG Enabling Mark Platinum accreditations in 2023, and also the Universal Design Excellence Award. So this, what I'm showing here is that in library space planning, we need to have a welcoming entrance. And for this part, when we want to cater for people with disability and especially those on wheelchair, we need to have even more spaces for them to navigate. So so we have went to create even use above and beyond what our basic requirements. We create a space that is big enough for wheelchair to turn 180 degrees. At the same time, also enough space for parents with a stroller to park their stroller before they enter the library. In terms of the space between furnishing, we also give a minimum of 180 mm. Our usual spacing between furnishing in other libraries is 120 to 130 mm. There's a ramp designed in Punggol to connect between level 1 and 2. This is to facilitate children's families with stroller, and the children collection is actually at level 1 and 2. And this also facilitates the movement of wheelchair users between the two floors. So in addition to meeting fundamental requirements, this library provides compots as well as adult changing tables for those with special needs. These compots are safe and private spaces for PWD who needs to come down when they are feeling a bit overwhelmed. And for family lounge is actually a space just for families with young children or even PWDs who have quick meals. And we added adult changing tables in our accessible toilets. So in terms of other areas in space planning, we also need to give special attention to lighting as well as the volume of the announcement, as intense light and sound could trigger individuals who are more sensitive. The next is we adapt a borrow and go model borrowing station for our wheelchair user, where they can just simply pass through this tunnel, the one at the picture on the left, to borrow the books, rather than go to the borrowing stations, which might be a little bit more challenging for them, even though we have lowered the borrowing station height. So this borrow and go station, what the user need to do is just to go through the tunnel. Then there is a screen at the side. They can borrow. They just need to confirm the books that they are holding on, the number of books they are holding on are correct, and then the transaction is over, and they can just proceed and exit the libraries. This borrowing station is also placed near accessible collection to facilitate the borrowing. Some of the stations in Punggol Regional Library, like the catalog and multimedia station, they are equipped with assistive device such as colored keyboards with a bigger key, UX-friendly, height-adjustable interface for senior, as well as people with visual impairment. Okay. And the last part I have here is about reconnecting this group of people back to the society. So the library works closely with PWD organization. One of them is MICE Frontier Garden School. The students from this school will visit Punggol Regional Library weekly to help them maintain the toy library. The cafe in Punggol Regional Library also employed PWD as full-time staff and also provide internship. Our outsourced vendors also recruit PWD to assist in the shelving of books. And there's one activity that the library has done is to collaborate with Arts Dis to showcase and offer arts work created by PWD for sales. Yeah. So with this, I end my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa, for your interesting sharing about the public libraries in Singapore. It's really good to learn that you integrate the indoor and outdoor, the plants and the sea. It's really interesting. So next come to the Q&A section. So our participants, you could just type your questions in the chat box.
Or in the Q&A function at the bottom, in the Zoom control bar at the bottom, you'll see a button that says Q&A if you'd like to start adding your questions there. If anything came to mind during Lisa's fantastic and fascinating presentation, I must say your library spaces are so well designed and so carefully thought through. And not only do they show some excellent examples of connecting to nature, but how you use the spaces for different programmings and different functions is so clearly thought through. And the designs are absolutely beautiful. I'm very jealous. You have some wonderful libraries.
Thank you.
Just
So,
while we're waiting for the questions to come through, Priscilla, I think you had a question to begin with.
Yes. I have a question here. So is the Punggol Regional Library the only library with the accessibility features for persons with disabilities? Yes, that's the first question.
Okay. So Punggol Regional Library is our very first library where we built as inclusive spaces for everybody. And also we built beyond what basic requirements for PWD, like providing compots, adult changing tables, as I mentioned in my presentation slides. So because these are all prototypes, we want to take time to review, and we are also at the same time gathering data from our user, our clients, and to see how feasible we can roll out to other libraries. Having said that, all our libraries are PWD accessible, because in Singapore, we do have to meet the basic accessibility code when we build spaces. Yeah.
Yes. I think we have the second question come.
Well, I've got a related question. I might just jump in and ask a quick question before we go to the audience. Also on servicing people with disabilities, did the staff at the Punggol Regional Library have to undergo special training once the spaces had been built and you'd equip them for people with disability? How about the staff?
Okay, thank you for the question. Yes, for staff that have been recruited for Punggol Regional Libraries, as well as the existing staff, including our outsourced vendors, they are all being trained. And for permanent staff, they actually went through very formal training, as well as immersion sessions at the PWD organization itself. So they learn hands-on as well as going through courses. Yeah. In order to ensure all our staff are aware of this initiative and able to interact with people with disability, whether they step into Punggol Library or in other libraries, we have identified accessible champion in each library, and they have regular meets up where they will share and also about what they have learned with each other. Yeah.
Fantastic.
So the library decide the contents of the courses. So the library itself will decide the content courses.
We work very closely with PWD organization because we need to know what exactly is needed. Then from there, yes, we do have a group, a small group. We have an accessible, or rather we have an equalizer office. And in this team, there are a small group that look at accessibility. So they are actually professionally trained when we recruited them. Yeah, and they will design their course. They will help to design course and make it easier for the rest of the NLB staff to understand. Yeah, but for them, they will go through formal training. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you for answering that. We've got some questions coming through from the audience now, so I might just read those out so everybody can hear. And the first one is a question about the challenges that you might have faced in the development of libraries by being more than just a collection. So what is the challenge faced in the development of libraries by being more than just a collection?
Okay. Yeah. Thank you for this question. In fact, it's really yeah, it's really something that the team face. There are challenges, but they are interesting challenges because when we develop library space and when we say we want to be inclusive, when we say we want to create experiences for our customer, we still need to balance between what is the operation side of house. So maybe I just take Punggol first as an example. When we say we want to include the PWD as well as the regular public in the same space, we need to ensure that it's balanced because let's say when I want to build a lower height table, we also need to ensure that we have enough tables for the regular customer who may be very tall or yeah. So there must be a balance, and also how much and must we do to make sure that everyone is being taken care of. Yeah. Then, of course, as I mentioned earlier about the operations, when we say we want to design experiences apart from just collection, we want them to, have more interesting way of discovering information. But how then do we manage when it comes to operations? Say, for example, we want to create actually, what I didn't share here is we do have extended hours spaces. Yeah. So the extended hours spaces is allow our customer to continue to use it after our regular library operating hours. So for this, we need to ensure how then operation needs to how can we operationalize it when there are no manpower? Yeah. So therefore, we do have a long discussion with the operation side of house to ensure that it's operationally ready, but yet, and it will not like create safety issues after office hour. And so things like this can be quite challenging because we need to have long discussion to ensure everything is taken care of, like the book is not going to be lost when there's nobody in the library. Yeah. When after say we ensure all patrons leave after 10 o'clock, because we extend until 10 o'clock, but library close at 9. Yeah, but after 10, how do we ensure everybody leave the library safely? Yeah. I hope I answered the question.
There's another question that's come through. Firstly, there's a compliment that's come through that I might just read out. Paulina Dubuleka has said, impressive work. You must have put a lot of thought and effort into the design of these libraries. Very inspiring. Thank you for sharing. Thank you, Paulina.
Thank you.
And we've got another question that's come through. Somebody's asking, what's your personal favorite features?
My personal favorite features?
Yes.
I really like the green heart at Central Public Library. I'm not sure if you remember, but it's in the photos because it's situated among among the circulation path. So, but it's so calm, even though people are walking around. But when you sit there to read books or just to look, you get a very calm feeling because of the greenery behind, as well as what you see in front, which I didn't show in the picture. They are actually shelves of books. So it has a very serene feeling. So I really like this feature a lot. Yeah.
I noticed that in one of your first slides, that picture of the green heart for the Central Public Library. And I thought,
Yes.
wow, that is so beautiful. I think that's my favorite too.
So we got another questions here. How do patrons react to these new features?
Oh, okay. So far, we do have very positive responses. And I think recently we did a review of Punggol Regional Libraries, and there are many good points. But at the same time, I think they're also doing a review, like I mentioned earlier, of the different services. So to see how feasible it is to be able to roll out to the different libraries. Yeah. Punggol Regional Libraries actually has the highest visitorship since we opened. Yeah. So in fact, yeah, kudos to the team there too, because it's not easy, yeah, to manage such a huge library. It's a 5-level story, so and to have to manage everyone that comes through the door, inclusive people with disability, seniors, children. I don't think it's very, very easy. Yeah. So thanks to the team too. Yeah.
It's good. And we have some comments on the Q&A and the chat box from Shimila. He said that thank you for your hard work, dedication, and unwavering commitment to the shared inspiring experiences.
Thank you. Thank you to whole of NLB team.
And we got another questions. He said that did the library staff investigated the customer journeys of did you outsource this? Did the library staff investigated the customer journeys, or are you outsource this?
Oh, okay. I hope I understand the question correctly. When we do the user engagement, when we do the observations, survey of our users' behavior, it's all done by our library staff. There's the project team is the planning and development team where I am in. So together with our public library staff, our NLB colleagues who are part of we form a project team that consists of all divisions. And so when we do our engagements or that we work together So it's all from the staff. We do not outsource the investigations. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So Antonia, we got more questions, right?
We have. There's another one that's come through. I was wondering this myself as I was looking at all your beautiful greenery in the library spaces. Do you have dedicated staff caring for all the greenery, or do you have external service providers who come in and do that for you?
Oh, okay. Okay, this is actually part of our maintenance service. So this will be done by, I mean, the greenery part, it will be done by our facility and building management side. So it's also our own staff, yeah. But we do have to engage someone to come and work on it, yeah. But it's facilitated by our own staff, yeah.
Good.
They do a fantastic job. It looks amazing. There seems to be a lull in the questions. I'm not sure if people are still thinking about other questions to ask. There's still a few minutes left, so there's an opportunity for one or two last questions if anyone's keen for Lisa to answer those. Oh, we have another one that's come through. Do you have any preservation activity for green libraries?
Preservation activities. Is it about programs or?
That's, yeah, I think we might need, Shamila, if you could just clarify what aspect of preservation you're meaning for green libraries.
Yeah.
It might be a little bit easier for us to answer.
Yeah. But I can share a bit though that in terms, we do have a lot of programs and these are done by our program team. They will research on what are the interesting topics about sustainability, and they will bring in these programs so the public can join and learn about sustainability through the different in the different libraries even. So not only these 3 libraries. So one of the example which I've shown is that the Green Grove libraries, the Green Grove Corner, in fact, is a programming spaces also. So on a weekly basis or monthly basis, they do organize green programs in different aspects, yeah, to educate the public, yeah.
Thank you, Lisa. We have one more question here. How do you maintain the plants inside the libraries?
Maintain the plant inside the libraries.
Yeah, because you have quite plants in the libraries.
Okay, so the plant we have to select something that is can survive indoors. So I think for this part, the team will have to work very closely with our specialists. I mean our consultants. When we bring in the plant, they will select those that is that can survive within an indoors, yeah. And so usually is for minimum maintenance, yeah.
Yeah, okay, good. So we have a questions here. I think it's really a good questions and a big questions. It's about what are the challenges for green libraries? Yeah, I think as you already awarded as the IFLA Green Library 2 years ago. So could you share some experience with us? The challenges for green libraries.
The challenges
for green libraries. What are the challenges for green libraries? Maybe you can share something about your case.
So, some of the problems or the difficulties you faced, or some of the hurdles that are difficult to overcome, perhaps? Yeah.
Okay, yeah, okay, can. Actually, this green library thing, we are just starting. It's a journey. So you can see that we tried different things. We come up with a fundamental principle. So I think the biggest challenges for this building green libraries is really, I would say, budget. Yeah, because it's not cheap to be being green, unfortunately. Yeah. So, but regardless, we do our whatever we can, as long as we get sponsorships, if we can. If you notice, actually earlier I also mentioned a bit about sponsorship. Some of these biodiversity libraries, the Green Growth Marketplace, all that is being sponsored. So we do have fund to advocate this awareness for sustainable living. Yeah. So the challenge really is, I would say the biggest is really the funding. But as long as a whole, whether it's in a nation, Singapore as a whole or globally, if things are, if prices are lower and these are become more and more common and people are adopting more and more sustainable materials and sustainable lifestyles, I think we should be able to overcome all the challenges. Yeah.
Yes, to be green and sustainable, I think to have the financial sustainability is also
important.
Yeah.
Definitely. But an interesting question that's come through from Lopez Rodriguez Carmen, and I was wondering this myself, and particularly given the quite humid climate in Singapore, do you have problems with fungus in books because of plants? Conservation workers argue that plants and books don't go together because of conservation issues.
So far, we don't have that issues.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if it's about plants and all that, if you notice, for indoors, we do, I mean, we don't really put them so close together. There is we will find a corner, and it will be, we have to carefully design the space such that, you can see the plants, but at the same time, all these issues will not crop up. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely a consideration when you're designing the spaces.
I think, yes, the time is almost up. So yeah, I think we have also answered quite a lot of questions today. It's good that we have interesting and joyful webinar today. So thank you for your participation, and thank you, Lisa, for your valuable sharing. So let's meet in our upcoming webinars again. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you
everybody
for
for attending.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
It was a wonderful session. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. See you. Bye-bye.
See you. Bye-bye.